Well, hi everybody. I made it tonight. Do you believe that? It's good to be here. Hope you guys are having a good week. It's nice to be not super tired for the first time in a while. Oh man. I'm trying to keep up with this streaming thing. I really enjoy it, so hopefully you guys stick with me. That would be awesome. Well, yeah, tonight, I had planned on trying out Zephon, or however you pronounce it, Zephon? I don't know. Some game that I found that I got, tagged with targeted advertising, and they were right, of course. Oh, I need to change my, Twitch game that I'm playing. Creator dashboard. Yeah, well, anyway, good to see you guys. Tonight, I had hoped to actually finally get to the, finance talk thing that I was going to do with the Reddit, Discord, but nobody, the administrator didn't get back with me, so we're not doing that. We're not doing that. That is to be, determined when that's going to happen. I was going to do that last week, but actually a friend of mine turned 40, so I decided to go to his 40th birthday party instead, so that was awesome. Actually, that was really cool. I saw a bunch of people that I hadn't connected with for years, over 10 years. Like, actually, one dude that I used to hang out with in high school all the time has, like, a 15-year-old right now, and I had no idea. So I was catching up with him and eating some delicious food. It was a lot of fun. It was a really good time. I need to change... What am I doing? I'm getting distracted. You guys are distracting me. Fuck you guys. What's your problem? Trying out Zephon. This is not Path of Exile, in fact. It is Zephon. I don't even know if they have a... Oh, they do! They do have a category for this. Cool. Done. How did I study for STEP? So I was very dedicated about my STEP studying. So we can talk about that in depth before I get going on this game. So I had several key, study resources. So I had first aid, which is great for, like, hitting high points. I had UWorld, and then I had a couple, select review sources that are, like, good for individual subjects. Oh, shit. Here we go. Sorry, I had a meeting. My camera's all fucked up. Come on, camera. Help me out here, brah. There we go. That's a little better. Still sort of off-center, but... There. Much better. Anyway, okay, yeah, so I had my review sources. And so UWorld, I don't know if you have your subscription to UWorld yet. You should, if you don't. You can sort it by both subject and by organ system. And so what I did is I went through and studied everything by organ system. And then I went through and studied everything by subject. To, like, just cement it in my brain. Study questions. I read Goleon's pathology book, which I think there are probably better sources now. I've heard there are better options. But that was still really good. It's a super dense read and probably kind of medium yield, to be honest. But it does have virtually everything that you need to know, so that's cool. But yeah, I did that, and I did it during the World Cup. So what I would do is I would wake up, do an entire, like, block of questions, which usually took me about an hour and a half, to, like, do all the questions and review them all. And then I would watch the first half of a game, and then I would, like, do it again, or I'd do 2 sessions, watch the second half of that game and the first half of another game, and then I'd, like, do it again, watch the second half of the second game, and then, like, do another set of questions, and I'd be done for the day. So my actual study time was, like, 8-ish hours a day. UWorld, Nonky, tutor mode. Yeah, yeah. Anything that's active learning is gonna be excellent. That's really the way to do it, because it's so much information that you have to stay engaged, or else you're just gonna be wasting your time. So if you have a source that works for you, I think UWorld is still the best, honestly. Like, nothing is gonna turn your brain on like practice questions. Yeah, I was an slightly above average student, and I got like a 240 something when that was a really good score. That was like an 80 something percentile score when I took it. Yeah, no problem, dude. It's one of those things that's simple but not easy, right? Like the plan is very straightforward, but actually like sitting down and having the discipline to study for 8 hours a day is really tough. Really, really tough, especially for a long time. One thing that I would advise is a lot of people give themselves a shitload of time to study. I gave myself 8 weeks because I wanted all of the time that I possibly could have, and I pretty well burn out by like 6. Like, I had covered everything, and I think I might have actually started sort of backsliding a little bit because I was just brain overloaded. But yeah, when you're doing it, make sure you don't, like, stay up. You know, don't like, fuck with your sleep. But on that note, do take breaks. You know, don't just, like, try to hardline it for 2 straight months, because that's terrible for you as a person. You know, make sure you get relaxed time. Like, have an off day, at least, every week, where you can go out with friends, hang out. Hey, Matt, what's up, dude? Also, Bing Bong, welcome. You're in the second half of your intern year. You're like a pro now, dude. Good for you. It gets easier. Slowly gets easier. It still sucks, but it gets easier. But yeah, step studying is really tough. Study in the morning and enjoy the evening? Yeah. I think you'll find it sort of difficult to get everything in thoroughly if you do that, to be honest. February intern is basically attending. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're not a February attending yet, though. Or February attending. February intern yet. One more day. 4 hours. It's coming, though. But, you know, the thing that never changes is the ridiculous nurse calls. That'll always be there, regardless of how experienced you are. Oh, man. Damn, I do not miss step studying. We're talking step 1, though, right? Which is now pass-fail. So, that does take a little bit of the heat off, but, like, totally adds heat to step 2, which I think is the most ass-backwards move ever. Yeah, step studying was terrible. I agree. I did mine in summer in Arkansas, and I just had to listen. Like, we lived in a very, like, family, you know, kind of, like, middle-class family neighborhood. And so there was just this ice cream truck that would just circle the neighborhood all freaking day. So we just listened to that shit constantly. It was just playing its music all the time. Birthday was a week before your step day? Oh, yeah. That's kind of rough. I mean, that's good, though. It's good that it was, like, you had something to celebrate. And then, you know, got to take it. I was very glad to be done with step. That was not fun. I guess that's how step 2 feels now. That's terrible, man. That move to make step 1 pass-fail is ridiculous. But whatever. But yeah, just the general rule for studying overall is, you know, active learning. Took an NBME in the morning, then had dinner party with your friends. Yeah, that's cool. It's a good way to do it. Oh yeah, so speaking of NBMEs, I wouldn't take a baseline in BME. A lot of people like to do that. Like, take one of the, you know, the practice step 1 test. I don't really see the point in doing that. Just jump into studying. Like, don't waste your money. You might do that kind of in the middle, like once you've maybe like made a pass through everything, so you can kind of figure out what your weakest subjects are. I mean, you'll probably have a pretty good idea what those are anyway, but your school made you. Well, yeah, I mean, if your school provides it, then great, but a lot of people do that on their own. But yeah, as for like something that you do for your own good, started March 1st and took it May 9th. Yeah, I don't know the dates that I took it, but like I said, I had 8 weeks. I do remember that. March 22nd? That's perfect. Yeah, that's plenty of time. That is an appropriate amount of time, I would say. Yeah, first aid is an excellent read. I feel like a lot of people kind of like shit on first aid because it's not like super in depth, but you don't need depth necessarily for the like huge buzzword topics. You know, like as long as you can make the association between like, oh, they're talking about like some guy having a seizure after swimming in a pond, it's probably Naglaria. You know, like if you all of these like weird ass zebra conditions that they ask you about that never fucking matter in clinical practice. But they have like some, you know, very clear association. Like as long as you get those down, you're fine. And that's what first aid is great for. It's hitting the high points. And that alone will get you a ton of questions right. First aid rapid review, your world scores went up 15%. That is quite a lot. Not bad at all. Yeah, I don't miss that shit. Yeah, well, I mean, it should be. If it should only be 500 cards if it's, you know, a quick review. Like, people commonly make the mistake of, like, highlighting their entire freaking book, and that is, like, exactly what you don't want to do, right? Purchase. Thought I already have this. Okay, well, let's purchase it, fuck it. I'm so confused. Thought I already downloaded this. Oh, there's multiple demos. Interesting. Oh, maybe I'm not playing Zephon. If this is like... Huh. There's like limited exposure to it. Oh, well that's weird. Okay, well I guess I'm not playing this tonight. That's fucked up. Maybe I must have downloaded this like during their previous free thing. Well, anyway, here, let's watch the gameplay trailer, because this actually looks really cool. So we're gonna pause this real quick. Not quite what I had in mind here, guys. Did I fuck the sound up? I did. Pathoma. I've heard the name Pathoma. It sounds like that's a pretty popular choice. Sound settings. There we go. Oh, it is on the... That's probably the problem. Alright. Will this play sound now? No, it won't, of course. Anyway, this is the game. It looks pretty cool. It looks like RTS, sort of, but maybe some RPG elements to it as well. So I'll have to get involved in this one. It's when was the next one? February something? Demo 5, February 12th to 19th. Okay, I'll have to remember that. So is Pathoma just like mostly pathology? I mean, that's pathology's sort of good thing to study, like Golian's path. Like I said, I read that because sort of everything kind of has to do with it. You can just skip through all the like histology stuff because that's very low yield, but it's all path. Gotcha. Well, that shoots my plan in the foot. What should I do? You know what? I haven't played Monster Train in a long time. It was just shorter than lectures. Baldur's Gate? I could do Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate's kind of a shitty game to stream, though, because there's a lot of, like, reading involved. I'm not opposed to that. You'll play with me and show me around. I might do Brotato. Let's play a little Brotato. Alright. Who are we going with? Engineer? Has anybody ever played this game? This is an amazing game, by the way. Doctor? Well, clearly I have to choose that. Medical? Precise. +5 harvesting, lower attack speed, armor modifications. Okay, so these attack like crazy fast. So these are just high crit. I think I gotta take the gun, right? We'll go easy so I can finish it. Let's see. Is the sound off? I wonder if my Steam is fucked up. Master sound. Yeah, my Steam must be messed up. Steam does weird stuff with sound settings from time to time, and I'm not sure why. Let's see if I can get it to change back. Oh well, whatever. I may have to just restart Steam because that's gonna drive me nuts. You go away. Steam! Blobfish games. Hmm. Still all fucked up. What is the deal, Steam? What is the deal? Yeah, I miss Baldur's Gate. I need to finish that. I'm not even sure how far through the first act I got. I probably put like 30 hours into it or so. But yeah, I still felt like I was nowhere near doing anything productive. I was just kind of running around doing random shit. Alright, hold that thought. We're gonna turn this off real quick. There we go. That still did nothing. Boo! Boo! Hmm. Oh well. Let's go. Let's kill shit in potato. Do I want the scissors? No, I'll do the gun. This is just good, mindless fun. I might go back into Path of Exile. I've really been enjoying Path of Exile a lot this league. It's been crazy productive. And I have one character that's, like, super duper good. And so I'm thinking I might go and try to, like, get some, progress in that. Actually, I might just do that now. I'm trying to fight a couple bosses that I've literally never attempted before. So that might be interesting. I know that I have to turn the sound off. Hold on. There we go. Orbital teabagging. Yeah, so this has been like a super, like, ridiculously profitable league for most people. If you play the game a certain way, it just, like, shits currency out everywhere. And so I have a lot of it. Even though I haven't really gotten to play all that much. Maven Splinters. Let's buy some of them bitches. Oh, I guess I need to do bulk. Fragments and sets. Charge and splinters? There we go. Put them in stock. 8. Ah, God. Wait, what? They're... I'm so confused. 6... What I pay... Oh, I got it. Why? That's weird. That seems extremely expensive. So 3 for a divine orb? Sure. So I need 8 of them? That's so expensive. Okay. Engrossing Fetus is this dude's name? I love it. That is super creepy. It's a cool hideout though. People spend so much time doing that shit. I wish that I had the free time to create a really cool hideout in Path of Exile. To me, it sort of seems like the folks who play Warhammer, but don't know anything about the game at all, and they just paint. And when I say play Warhammer, I obviously use that term very loosely. Wait, so it just occurred to me, if Gucci, you're taking a step in March, how does that work? So do you not wait till the end of your second year? Or is that a result of the weird, like, 1.5 year curriculum thing? So you, like, take step and then, like, go to clinicals? Or, I mean, because you've already done clinicals, right? Or you do clinicals, like, immediately afterwards. I'm so confused. I'm old, and I don't handle change well. I don't know how this works. Aims for rage. This is very interesting music from Paraseller. Yeah. Thanks. Alright, so now I need... I'll just do it again. Fuck it. I'll have an extra. That player's AFK. Just have an extra splitter kicking around, I guess. That's fine. Wow. 3 for 3 on getting message. That, if you know anything about the Path of Exile trading scene, that is incredible. Usually you have to, like, spam people just to get one. Thank you. Cheers. Alright, here we go. I don't even know how to do this, actually. Maven's Writ. Okay. I guess it just turns into that automatically. Okay. Back you go. Alright, you ready to watch me get my ass handed to me? Okay. I think I'm all set. This is gonna be interesting. This is my first Maven encounter ever.
The prize piece comes to join my collection.
Whoa. Cool.
A cascade of pain. Stand still.
No.
A cascade of pain.
Fuck that.
Pain will be returned tenfold.
Pain returned tenfold. Oh, gotta get out of here. I've seen this fight a couple times, so I sort of have an idea of how this goes.
Behold my collection.
I will have what I want. It will not be an escape.
Oh shit. left, right, or
Scurry.
left,
Scurry.
left, top, left. Okay, that's a memory game. You get blown up if you do it wrong.
Stand still.
Ah, those lasers make you not be able to regenerate health.
A cascade of pain.
Death
Oop.
made real.
Stand still.
Oh god.
Resistance will be punished.
Uh-oh.
Time controls.
Oh shit, shit, shit. Oh!
Beloved toy.
I didn't realize he was going for that. Need to be quicker on the draw. Okay, not going too badly though, considering I don't really know what I'm doing.
Scurry.
Oh, why am I frozen? What the fuck?
My irritation is growing. Death will not be an escape.
Let's see. Alright, where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go? Okay, right, top, left, top, left, top.
Scurry. Scurry.
Right, top, left, top, left. Oh, come on! I just got there, you bitch.
Do what I say. Stand still.
Death made real.
A cascade of pain. Oh.
Stop resisting.
Okay, gotta get out here.
Reality bends.
I can do this.
Punishment inescapable.
Arrogant toy.
I am an arrogant toy. Oh,
It will not be an escape. My
ooh.
collection.
I'm actually not sure what killed me there, but I'm sure I deserved it. Whatever it was.
Scurry. Scurry.
Oh shit. I didn't see that. Left, top, right.
My collection is complete.
Memory game is rough, dude. I think that'll hopefully be the last one I have to deal with, though. We'll see.
Stand still. Take this.
Ooh, ouch.
I require aid!
Ooh, did I win? I gotcha. Ooh. All right.
You have proved your might. You have proved your ignorance.
Cloth belt. Okay.
The toy refuses. The toy
Nice.
causes me pain.
I must have time to
Is the toy alive? Oh, I apologize to the toy. I did not realize you were like me.
That was cool.
I hope we can continue to play together.
Sweet. Hello, Envoy.
An intervention, Nomad. You have proved your might. You have proved your ignorance. The Maven
Maven.
is a toddler.
So I've never done this before. I'm reading
that has
the
wandered
lore.
too far and made a new nest in this realm. Her progenitor nears, drawn by silence and conflict. Were I to allow you to continue, it would arrive to find its progeny wailing and maimed. Were I to allow you to continue, you would engender wrath immeasurable. To cease and still and grow cold is far preferable to punishment without end, punishment without time. The Maven must be protected and guarded. A mercy for you both. Savor your remaining time. They
Nice.
are coming.
Cool. Okay. Well, now I have that Void Stone, I guess. Burp. How much is that worth? 1.2 divines. Elated Sextant. Also 1.2 divines. So I lost a divine doing that? Cool. Paid a divine for my Void Stone, I guess.
After all,
Yep, I will take that. Thank you. I don't know what I'm going to use it on. I feel like there was something I had to spec out of that I wanted. Quest complete. That was that. Okay, maybe I should do the Shaper or the Uber Elder? I mean, that was not super terrible, given that I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing. Okay. That can go away, so I need... have that. God. 1.5 divines for these. Okay. Do I want to do that? That's the question. Or do I want to just go delve? I think I kind of want to go delve.
must have time to gather my will.
I haven't done much delving. Oh, is anybody else hyped for Last Epoch's release? That's gonna be awesome. I heard that the Diablo 4 season is just absolute dog shit. It sounds terrible. Which is so sad. Like, I cut my teeth on Diablo 2, man. So, to see that series fall from grace, you know, as like the creator of an entire... And, you know, Diablo 3 was mediocre. And Diablo 4 I really, really enjoyed at the beginning. Like, the campaign was amazing. I was really impressed with the campaign. What just killed me? Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, really, really enjoyed the campaign a lot. But the end game was just, like... I mean, it wasn't even bad, it just, like, wasn't there. There's nothing to do. It's like the same two things that you do over and over and over and over and over and over. And I'm not convinced that that's really changed. It sounds like exactly the same thing. And like anymore, that's such a it's kind of like a golden age of action RPGs right now. There's lots of really good choices. So, mediocrity. That guy's just taunting me. 17,950. I'm at depth like 80 something. That is bad shit. I need to start running into the darkness, getting some fossils. Or actually, maybe I don't. I don't think you really get much for doing that until later depths. But yeah, the Diablo 4 just sort of sucking isn't really gonna do anything. We've kind of talked about this in Discord a little bit. Like, they, you know, Blizzard made their money off all the hype and everything. but they just don't have a good game. This is pretty much the bottom line. Right. Yeah, I really still need Azurite, don't I? Yeah, just thinking about how much stuff I want to play is overwhelming. Like, Baldur's Gate, so good. That's an amazing game, and I want to play through it like a couple times. Because my character right now is a paladin, and he's just sort of like a stupid hard ass, basically, which I know is sort of stereotypical for paladins, but he's just kind of an arrogant jerk. And I'd like to play it as like a, you know, sort of cunning, tricky character or something. That seems like a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, I understand that that game is like 150 something hours just to play through once. And I don't really have that much time, unfortunately. One of these days I'll get back to it. Gorgol Terror. You in your immunity phase. Where'd you go? Yeah. There we are. Okay. Alright, let's go get that Azurite. Yeah, that Zephon game looks really cool too. Last Epoch, man. The changes to Last Epoch look so good for their like official release. That is, like, I've always thought that that was a fairly polished game. Some people complain that the end game is a little lacking there too, but I mean, compared to Path of Exile, yes. But Path of Exile is just ridiculous. It is easily the most complex, you know, far-reaching game, and it's kind of the gold standard for the genre, right? So, I think that's not really a fair comparison in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously they're competitors, they're direct competitors, but like Last Epoch is very much more beginner-friendly, while still being very interesting and deep. So I got an interesting bit of news, like, not about me, but, so as you guys may know, the pandemic caused all sorts of, like, ridiculous staffing shortages in healthcare for various reasons, like, both from people being sick and from people, like, retiring, just, like, quitting, you know, saying, like, I don't want to deal with this, I'm within range of retirement, it's fine, maybe I hadn't planned on doing it right now, but I don't want to deal with this anymore. And so they retired. So there's this huge shortcoming, or shortfall, of doctors in particular. And, like, we still haven't anywhere near recovered from it. Like, the market for healthcare providers in general is just crazy. So one of my partners, who's the guy who does most of our like administrative stuff, you know, just like kind of handles the like business aspect, and he's our liaison with the hospital and all that. He went to like the American Society of Anesthesiologists offers a practice management presentation weekend basically every year, and he went there, and they were, you know, they were doing some sort of like intro. Somebody was speaking, and was like, so I want everybody here who is fully staffed to raise their hand. And we were one of like 4 groups out of a couple hundred that are fully staffed. And I mean, that's just nuts. So everybody else is like relying on, you know, locums work, like temporary workers, or just eating it, you know. They're just taking extra hours because they have to make the world go round. What? What the fuck? Oh, Delve. Oops. Let's try that again, shall we? Hit stuff. There we go. Yeah, so 4 groups out of the several hundred in, you know, in attendance to this meeting. So I already feel pretty lucky to like work where I am, honestly. It's a good group. There we go, let's get some cool shit. Scorched fossils! I will take all those side areas I can. Yeah, definitely a good place to be. For those of you interested in anesthesia, that's why it's getting competitive. Like, despite the fact that there's a job shortage, like, the market is nuts and will continue to be nuts. Probably for a long time. Give me azurite. I'm sort of, like, in the back of my mind, I'm kind of hopeful that the fact that doctors are in such huge demand right now sort of serves as a platform for us to kind of move forward with a lot of kind of like unionization and collective bargaining stuff that has been sorely lacking in this profession for many, many years. Well, ever, really. Like, as it stands, telling other, like, groups or, like, provider networks what your compensation from private insurance companies is illegal. It's considered collective bargaining, which for physicians is illegal for some reason. Why that is beyond me. That seems so ass backwards. It's just unbelievable. Like, why would that matter to the insurance company if they were, you know, benevolent about this? Which clearly they're not, right? Like, they'd just be like, this is our rate. This is what we're gonna give you. It wouldn't be like, we have to negotiate individually with every single provider to tell you what we're going to pay you for the same service these other people provide. So yeah, hopefully the fact that, like, there is such a demand for physicians will kind of lead us to a world where those things don't happen anymore, and we can actually, like, pay raises and things like that. It's insane to think about, I know, right? Imagine physicians getting paid similarly to administrators. killed something way off in the distance. How do I make sourdough bread? I have no freaking idea, dude. How do you make sourdough bread? It sounds like the intro to a joke that I really don't want to hear the punchline for, honestly. Speaking of which, I heard a really good one that I sent to all of my OB-GYN friends. So here, what do a nearsighted obstetrician and a puppy have in common? I'll give you a second to think about it. What do a nearsighted obstetrician and a puppy both have in common? They both have wet noses. Think about it. I love it. So speaking of TikTok, do you guys know of a, oh shit, what's his name? Dr. Rubin. He's a pediatric immunologist. He's hilarious. He is the strangest dude. He's like got this wonderful, like, you know, Jew afro thing going on, and like always wears a bow tie. And on TikTok he's like, per my wife, is currently like always live. Like he does live TikTok constantly, and he's like hula hooping and answering questions about allergy and stuff. You should stop watching my stream and just watch that guy. He's way more interesting, I promise. And he has like 1 million followers on TikTok. This is crazy. Okay, bye. See ya. See ya, Cockroach Princess. I appreciate your all your time. Yeah, but she sends me links every time he's live, and it's a lot. It's like multiple times a day. Ow. Yeah, she's like always in his chat trolling, which I think is really hilarious too. The song is, yeah, the Stream Beats label has put out a lot of like much higher quality tunes recently. Must leech through corrupted blood. Fuck. There we go. I did it. Might turn down the game sounds a little bit after this. Seems a touch loud. Why do Obi kites have wet noses? If they're... Why do you think? Because they have to get, like, up close. Oh, you youngins. You'll see. You'll see. There we go. Let's turn that down a little. Just a smidge. OB is the nastiest specialty, dude. It's so gross. I have like negative interest in being an OB. Pretty sure I would just like straight up quit medicine if that's the only thing I could do. Whew. Lost jewelry. As a gay, I have no desire to see vaginas all day. You know, I don't think that has much to do with sexual orientation, quite frankly. Because the ones that are coming to you are not the ones you want to be seeing most of the time. And all that stuff just becomes parts anyway. It's all just another, like, piece of meat to be, you know, operated on or fixed somehow. It sounds very callous, but that's kind of how it goes. Was it you who linked me to the OB resident who advocated, or who, like, wanted her patients to advocate for themselves by saying, like, give me a differential diagnosis for this? That was darling. I can't remember who it was, but that's a very, yeah, that's a very hopelessly naive outlook on life. Like, dude, your clinic is going to suck ass if you have to sit there and explain every single thing to every patient. That will be a miserable experience. Like, that is an opinion held by somebody who's never had to run their own clinic. Or been under time crunch of any kind. Then of course the people agreeing with her are like, yeah, my doctor never listens to me. Do I find patients who do a lot of Googling before seeing me annoying? Yeah, absolutely. Because the ones who do that usually aren't the ones who are reasonable and, like, actually trying to figure out, like, educate themselves. I mean, there's exceptions to that statement, obviously, but, like, the overwhelming majority of people who are, like, you know, trying to get their online MD are, like, hyper anxious, and they're just going to be a pain in your ass. So part of this is, like, patient factors as well. Like, if somebody is educated and they say, hey, well, I read up on this, and, you know, it sounds like it could be these things, like, what do you think? Like, that's cool. You know, that's fine. But the ones that just kind of, like, most people who actually do that sort of, like, perseverate on one thing. They're, like, convinced that, you know, their, like, vague nausea for the past month is, like, some terminal cancer. And, you know, you're just like, well, it's probably the fact that you drink a pot of coffee and smoke a pack of cigarettes every day. That's probably why you're nauseated. Like, you might have an ulcer. Or you might just have a terrible diet, and you're nauseated because of that. Having cancer is way less likely. but they don't want to hear that, you know? They don't want to hear that it's, like, something simple or something that they don't think it is. Which is yet another reason why sitting and talking with people about, you know, everything that they could possibly have is just asinine and not a good use of anybody's time. And, like, frankly, a lot of the people that, you know, are going to come through your clinic aren't going to understand what you're telling them anyway. Like, how often does somebody ask me what I'm going to give them to put them to sleep? They're like, what drugs are you going to give me? Like, will that mean anything to you? Like, when I tell you that you're going to be asleep with sevoflurane, are you just like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I know exactly what that is. Like, no. Nobody has any idea what to do with that information. These are just, like, sounds coming out of your mouth, not, like, sort of arguably even words. You're like, hey, I'm gonna put you to sleep with propofol. Oh, the Michael Jackson drug. Oh. Yeah, that one. Yep. Yep. Except we actually monitor you, oddly enough. How do I argue against anti-vaxxers? I don't. That's one of the beautiful parts about my job, is I don't have to give a shit about any of that or convince anybody of anything. Because it's very easy. I'm just like, you know, this is what I'm gonna offer you. Like, if it really comes push to shove, which it very, very rarely does. Like, the overwhelming majority of people who come in and need anesthesia service of some kind are at least reasonable enough to be like, I will let you do what you need to do. Like, I mean, I would say that that's a problem maybe once a month, probably not even that often. If you're a resident and are asked about it, I mean, I would just tell them facts. Like, you know, all evidence points that these are very safe, effective treatments. They do not cause autism. Like, there have been many, many, many studies that show that that is not the case. The, you know, supposed study that showed that they did was, you know, basically falsified, has been retracted. That researcher is, you know, totally disgraced. There's just no evidence to support that claim whatsoever. And if they don't listen to you, then, you know, just keep it short, simple. Those are not people that you want to be in arguments with, right? Because that is a catastrophic waste of your time. Like, if just stating simple facts isn't, you know, at least enough to make them be like, oh, well, that's interesting, then you're done. There's nothing that you can do that will change their mind. Which is a shame, because most likely their kids are going to suffer for that. You know, and their kids. Like, hopefully they see the light and get vaccinated later on for their own good, but who knows? Let's see, where do I want to go? I guess we just keep going down. Yeah, I mean, always just provide people with facts and be prepared to move on. You know, arguing with them is definitely not where you want to go. But yeah, I mean, like my classic "that ain't no fucking vaccine" story. Okay. Like, your beliefs don't affect the fact that I'm putting a breathing tube in you right now, so good night. Have I ever argued with a patient? Not really. I mean, I've told patients, like, I disagree with you. Like, that's not the case, kind of thing. But I've never, like, sat there and argued with them. I just don't. That's not something I'm interested in doing. And as you will learn, if you haven't already, patient refusal is an absolute contraindication to everything. So, like, if the patient says, no, I don't want that, then you say, okay, and you move on. Like, lots and lots of people, like, for, you know, difficult patients who want to, like, leave against medical advice, they want to leave AMA, they'd, you know, go and try to convince them to stay and be like, oh, you know, sir, you know, you really need to be here, and, you know, it's unsafe for you to go, blah, blah, blah. I really think you should stay. Nah, I don't have time for that. Basically, the best I would do is I'd be like, hey, this is what's going on. You know, if you leave, you might get an infection, or, like, you're gonna bleed, or whatever, you know, whatever reason that we're keeping them in the hospital. And I would always show up with the AMA form. Be like, just sign this, you'll get out of here. Like, a lot of people would tell them, like, well, your insurance won't pay for this if you leave. Like, I didn't tell them that. Like, if you want to go, get out of here. Like, that's fine. I mean, they're not going to pay their bill anyway, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, I'd always pitch them once, You're like, this is why you should stay. Do you still want to leave? And almost always they would say yes. I'm like, okay, sign this. See you later. Then insurance, if they don't sign the AMA form, no, signing the AMA form is just kind of a ass covering sort of thing, where most of the time they say something like, you know, we've discussed the, you know, risks of leaving and, you know, advise the patient to stay here, blah, 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 all that sort of thing. And you just have them sign it. But if they just leave anyway, like, regardless of whether they sign the form or not, insurance generally will not pay for somebody who leaves against medical advice. But again, most people who do that don't care because they're not going to pay the bill regardless. Or they're not paying for their insurance. Or both. Not paying your hospital bill affect your credit score? Yes, that it does, actually. It didn't used to, and I've forgotten when that changed. It's fairly recently, like 10-ish years ago, something like that. It was changed so that non-payment of medical bills will affect your credit score. It did not used to. Yeah, the consequences of not paying, like, for a lot of people, like, especially if, you know, you have a typical, like, middle-class income, and, you know, say somebody goes to the hospital for cancer, you know, and they're there for, like, 2 weeks. They're super sick, or they're intubated, you know, like, that could potentially be hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? So, one option is to, like, a lot of hospitals will have, like, income-based repayment plans, or, some sort of setup where, like, you can, like, finance it and basically just never pay it. Never pay it off. It's trash. What is this? Fury valve, huh? But yeah, for a lot of people, like, a giant medical bill is better to just not pay. It doesn't make financial sense to pay it. Because, like, if you're not moving or, like, you know, getting a new car anytime soon, doesn't matter. Even cars really is not that big of a deal. You just have to buy cars on, like, just have to pay cash and buy them on the secondary market. Which is inconvenient for sure, but it's not that big of a deal. If you have a $100,000 bill, it's better to just take the hit. Well, I mean, it depends on your income, right? That's a situational thing. But yeah, I mean, if you're making $40,000 a year, yeah, fuck that, man. Why would you pay a $100,000 hospital bill if you can just, you know, put it on a payment plan and make the minimum payments? Usually the minimum payment is very, very low. And, like, you have to be kind of creative with your, like, your asset structure, especially if you're married, so that your spouse doesn't, like, ultimately become responsible for your debts, your liabilities. So you'd have to do things that we're kind of, I'm going through this, oddly enough, with my mom right at the moment. So my mom has a ton of student debt that she realistically can't ever pay off. Can they put you behind bars if you don't pay the minimum balance? I don't think so. I don't think that's a criminal offense. I mean, they can, like, garnish wages and, you know, whatever income you may have. So, like, so they can take your social security and all of that sort of stuff. But, like, as far as going to jail, no. Like, they definitely make your life really freaking difficult. But yeah, as long as you, like, set up a trust and, like, your will properly, and, you know, change, like, the, who your assets are titled under. Like, if you're married, just, like, put them under, and, you know, don't think that your spouse is gonna, like, totally fucking hose you at some point. Like, you can just take yourself off of those properties, like your car and house and all that stuff. So, like, if your spouse were to die and you got those things, or sorry, other way around. If you were to die and your spouse got those things, they, you know, the creditors couldn't take their share from that. So those are important things to consider. What if your spouse dies and you take your name off it? Then you have to. It's a pain in the ass, frankly. You have to go through probate and do all sorts of like weird legal shit to, you know, and it's probably expensive. Yeah, or if you have kids, or like a, you know, sibling or something that you could list as the beneficiary of, like, whatever your spouse had, then you could do it that way. So, like, your sister would own your house if your spouse died or something. I mean, it just, like, this is all situational, you know, like, if you've got, like, $1 million of debt where they would, like, literally take your entire house, then, you know, maybe that's worth doing. You can do some tricky shit if you really want to. How did I learn about all this stuff? Experience, unfortunately. So that in particular, I had a meeting. So I mentioned that I'm going through something very similar with my mom right now. So my dad and I had a meeting with a lawyer maybe 3 weeks ago, to sort of figure out how to protect us from my mom's debt. And you know, this is a good reason. This is one of the things I was going to talk about in the like finance talk that we were going to do with the you know, MCAT Reddit, which is still going to happen at some point, but it's, you know, we've had to push it back twice. But anyway, talking with a financial advisor is a really, really good idea, and he was the one who turned me on to like talking with a lawyer about getting a trust set up for my kids, and then we sort of ventured into setting one up for me from my parents, and just making like, and my mom is not very fiscally responsible, to say the least, so, you know, basically making sure that I'm in charge of all of, you know, the assets that my dad has earned over the years. That's a pretty important thing. But yeah, I'm slowly becoming financially more savvy. I'd say I'm kind of at the point that I know what I don't know in a lot of cases, and like understand that I need help for pretty much everything. Which is way more than a lot of people can say, honestly. And I know where to get that help too. But yeah, as for like investing on my own, I'm not there. I wouldn't know what to do. And like all that's set up through my financial advisor at the moment. And financial advisors are expensive, especially considering, like, for me, I basically only do things that are, you know, kind of plug and play. Like, I just contribute money every month, and like that automatically gets sucked into all of the things that I invest in. Like, nobody really has to do anything, but, you know, just setting those things up is a pain in the ass, and to me it's worth it. I think I pay 0.8% per year, something like that. 0.8% per year to you know, have my advisor stand on. And even though he's not doing anything, like, at least he's available if I have questions about anything. Which I do from time to time. And we meet. We've been pretty bad about meeting recently, but usually it's like once or twice a year, just to kind of keep up with stuff and see if there's anything that we should be changing or different investment strategies we need to do. Yeah, I mean, even if you're really financially savvy and know what you're doing, it's nice to at least have like another pair of eyes look at what you're doing, just to make sure you're not missing anything. And you can do that for, you know, a couple of years when you start out, just to make sure everything's, like, if you know what you're doing, you can just stop doing that after you're comfortable that you're set up. Do you talk about individual stocks and ETFs? Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, they heavily encourage like massive diversification. I'm invested in a fuckload of different positions, but yeah, he definitely is like, oh, you know, like this thing is doing really well. And they also their firm in particular, it's Larson Financial if you're interested. They work exclusively with physicians. What individual stocks has he recommended? I honestly don't recall. I haven't had many discussions with him about that, because I'm really not interested in playing the market on that level. But he has recommended, you know, basic things like invest in retail before the holidays. You know, so like August, September rolls around. It's a really, if you hit a, like, observe a sort of cratering in value of Target or Walmart or something like that, like, that might be a good time to buy. Things that are sort of obvious, common sense, like market timing sort of stuff is mostly what they say you want to do. If you're gonna get into that, but otherwise it's mostly just diversification and getting as much money in like tax deferred stuff that you possibly can. Hello. Let's go back to my hideout, shall we? Get in here. Ooh, that's a good ring. No wonder you want that. Enjoy. The S&P average 10% per year. Would I recommend getting a financial advisor? My advisor has mostly beaten that. I think this past year I was 12%. The year before that I got rocked though. I think I was down like 2% for the year or something. Can't remember exactly. But yeah, for the most part it's been 10% or above. And he was showing me some, my advisor was showing me some studies that like the reason that financial advisors cost what they do is that's pretty much the like benefit that they bring to you on average. So like, you know, generally it's about 1%, and typically my understanding of the things that he was showing me is that typically a savvy investor will make about 1% less than like a financial advisor driven thing. Plan. Yeah, so you use it. Yeah, right. You basically earn an extra % by using a financial advisor. So you're paying them the money that they make you. Is pretty much the rub. I love conversations with people in Path of Exile. It's such a great community. What's the reasoning behind stand-up pickle? I'm sure he just likes pickles, man. They are delicious. But you gotta be weird about everything. Oh, that's not my name. My name is, Orbital Teabagging. A much better name. And the reason behind that is I was using a skill that, like, sends, like, it's ball lightning and it just, like, flies around your character. And so, I thought balls teabagging, you know, I'm, like, basically 12 years old, so it seemed like a good idea. What did he get? When I'm on rotations, are you competing against other students? Unfortunately, yeah, you kind of are. You're not competing against them in the sense that, like, one of you finishes first, one of you finishes second, right? But, you know, if the other person is, like, doing something that you're not, or vice versa, like, that definitely reflects on the other person. So that sucks. And that's just kind of the nature of the beast, unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, there's really no way to avoid that. That's just kind of fact of life. So it's not like you're in direct competition, but you do have to sort of be aware of, like, that you're going to be compared to the people that you're around. How do you outshine them? I mean, I don't think it's really about outshining them, but just, like, do your work. I mean, honestly, just show up and do what's expected of you. Wow, that's really good. What was that? 80 chaos? Put it up for divine. Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to, like, you know, really stand out and work super hard without kind of like earning yourself a gunner label. Right, speed. How much? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't worry as much about outshining them specifically as I would just like taking care of business. And rotations are just, the grading is so weird. It's very heavily dependent on, at most places, it's very heavily dependent on your, like, reviews, you know, your evaluations and stuff. Typical gunner behavior on rotations would, I mean, gunner in the true sense means, like, somebody who's taking out other people, right? So they would be, like, sabotaging you, like, saying that they're gonna, like, do something for you, like, do your favor and not do that. And, like, make you look like ass on rounds. Or, like, throwing you under the bus to the attending, like, hey, this guy forgot to do this thing. I mean, that would be a true gunner move. But for the most part, it's just kind of things like, staying late when you're not supposed to, or, you know, showing up, like, super early to do random stuff, you know, like, just things that are unnecessary. I would not do those things. Like, just see your patients, know your patients, understand kind of like a differential diagnosis for them, what the plan for them is, those sorts of things. That's more than enough. And if they have, like, some serious condition that you're, you know, acutely treating, like, knowing their prognosis is a good thing, too. That's definitely something you want to have a handle on. How do you do what you're supposed to do well? Practice, ask for help, try. You know, like, I would talk to other students who've done the rotation and, you know, see what they did. Talk to the residents that are on there and be like, hey, you know, I don't really know how to write a good note. Like, how am I doing? You know, does this make sense? Is this well organized? Those sorts of things. Ooh. Vault Outpost. But yeah, just ask for help. Is the best advice I can give you. Like, if you try, then that will be evident. And that's really all you need to do. Try and make an effort to improve. If you don't know a lot of things, can you still manage? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you need to learn those things. That's kind of the idea, right? Is you improve and you gain that knowledge throughout the rotation. But yeah, you'll have to you know, take notes of, like, what you screw up and what you don't know from, like, what you talk about in rounds and, like, during procedures if it's your surgical rotation and stuff like that. Like, really pay attention to the things that you don't know so you can go back and read about them. Like, do practice questions and stuff. That is very helpful. If you ask a lot of help for, yeah, absolutely. If you ask for help in honors, I mean, you're supposed to do that. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing and you're not asking for help, that's a big problem because you're just gonna keep not knowing what you're doing. And then you'll have no idea if you're doing it right or not, right? Because a lot of times you don't get feedback until, like, the very end of the rotation, and, you know, unless you, like, really screw something up, where somebody has to like immediately correct you. A lot of times you're not gonna hear anything one way or another. But yeah, like I said, basically if you know your patients and you know what the plan is for them, that's more than enough. Like that's very top end for a third year med student in my opinion. Or a beginning medical med student, whatever year that happens. No, that's recipe for honors for sure. But that's not like that's not easy to do. Right, so when I say just know your patient, that's not necessarily a super easy thing to do. Like, if you're in the ICU, those patients are really complex. Or if you're, you know, some of the surgical patients have really long surgical histories and there's a lot of shit going on. And you've got to know how to, you know, do a procedure and, like, troubleshoot it, like, what sort of complications they're going to run into. You know, like, if somebody's had lots of abdominal procedures, like, you're going to run into scarring and adhesions and, you know, maybe bowel obstruction and things like that. So, like, it's a very straightforward thing conceptually, but it will require a lot of work on your part. So yes, that is a recipe for honors, but it's not as easy to do as it sounds. What skills should you have mastered for rotations? None. I mean, it might be a good idea to know how to suture. For your surgery rotation, like just practice that a little bit. That's easy enough. Like just some basic stitches, maybe tie knots. Know how to tie surgical knots. That would be helpful. And I mean that's like an hour out of your day if you sit down and like really focus on it. That you can get good enough at that to like not look like an asshole in your surgery residence or surgery clerkship. Should you be able to write a write-up? No. Like, you should know the basic components of a decent note and, like, be able to organize it with assistance at the beginning. But, like, towards the end, you want to be able to be pretty proficient at writing it. So I would look at notes that, you know, other people have written on your patient previously, or on other patients. Excuse me. And there are plenty of models of that online that you can just have a look at. But you'll notice that like different specialties expect different things. So like an internal medicine note is going to be a lot more thorough, for instance, than like a surgery note. So a surgical notes usually you just include, you know, pertinent positive and negative findings, and then say, you know, this patient has an inflamed appendix on CT scan. We're going to take them for an appendectomy. You know, I think this is appendicitis. We're taking him for appendectomy. That's it. Whereas medicine, they want sort of like a, you know, complete multi-system review and all that sort of stuff. Where am I going? There we go. Did I start writing notes? So I had done a couple notes. We had a sort of like mentorship program where they paired us up with like a primary care doctor of some description. I had an internal medicine doc, and they had us like go see a patient and write up stuff. So I'd probably written like 4 or 5 notes or something at that point. You know, very, very bad notes, but notes nonetheless. Oh, Bijou. What is that? Cluster, level 84 cluster jewel? Yeah, buddy. Take that. What is this? No. Yeah. I always get baited into picking that up. But yeah, I think the answer is you're not really expected to do anything well on your rotations, and chances are that you won't do anything well on your rotations. You'll be a burden, and you will be in the way, and you will feel accordingly. And that's okay, because that's kind of what you're there for, is to figure that out. Yeah, I'd say pretty much everybody feels real stupid when they're on rotations at one point or another. Or maybe all the time. That's also pretty normal. And that feeling kind of just keeps right on going into residency. I mean, generally most schools are pretty good about at least kind of giving you some exposure to what you're going to be doing. So you're not, like, totally going in blind. Just mostly going in blind. Yeah, it's all gonna be very new, but that's just sort of the name of the game. There's really just kind of too much in medicine to be totally prepared for everything. So rotations is really where you start getting just sort of thrown into the fire. And that's kind of a good and bad thing. Like, medical training is very, very heavy on situations where you're just sort of, like, expected to perform in a situation that you've never encountered before. Which sort of sucks for trainees, but it also, like, you know, rips the Band-Aid off pretty hardcore. Like, you just figure out what you're doing. And, like, you probably struggle a lot and might even, you know, fail at it and have to, like, just straight up punt and call somebody else in, but... you know, like, say somebody needs a central line, and they're like, okay, you're up, go place the central line. You're like, I've never done that before, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, that's obviously a huge challenge, so you've got to find somebody who knows how to do central line, or watch a video, or both, you know, just figure it out. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of how, like, real life is, right? You sort of get used to a lot of these situations. You know, somebody comes in with out-of-control diabetes or hypertension or whatever, and you know how to deal with that just fine. But you're always going to have weird situations that are, you know, going to throw you for a loop that you don't really know how to handle. So again, it's good to have experienced that, but it does make learning a little challenging, because you never really know what's going to get thrown at you. Oh, so many things to kill. I really enjoyed rotations, though. I will say that. It's a very humbling experience, but I felt like I finally got to actually do what I was supposed to be doing there, you know, like that's what you're like, you're practicing medicine, kind of, you know, actually learning how to do that, learning on the job is pretty cool, in my opinion. Let's do this. Ooh. Oh god, there's so many explosions. Oh shit. When do you start rotations, by the way? Is it after this year? That seems really fast. Are you guys on those weird, like, year and a half clinical things. I guess it would be after this year, right? Huh. Oh, you youngins are growing up so fast. You'll be all up in my grill before I know it. That's kind of cool. Actually, that's kind of cool. Whoa. Killed something all the way over here. Jesus.
Must have time to gather.
Pocked riches. I love the random spam from the stream boosting folks. You guys can't see that. Classy Beef 1671. Nice. You're a new streamer and haven't affiliated yet. I'm just doing this full time, man, trying to make a buck. Oh wait, no I'm not. That's right. One of these days I'll get back to doing this pretty regularly though. I feel like that's very close. Because the little one's sleeping through the night now pretty reliably. Sometimes wakes up screaming at 2 in the morning. I'm not really sure what that's all about, but we're getting there. Getting there slowly but surely. Oh, I turned my kid on to rock music. It's a proud moment as a dad. We watched School of Rock and he is all about it. He is now a Jack Black fan. He wants a guitar. Like, we've been listening to, like, random old classic rock songs and stuff, and it's been so cool. Stupid ghost. Go away. Twisted Hogwarts. Down we go. God, the corrupted blood, oh god! I definitely need corrupted blood immunity, Jesus Christ. Oh, goodness. Come back, crawler. Damn, everything dies so fast. Love it. Alright, I'm getting tired. I'm old. Thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully I'll be back on Sunday. That's the plan, but we'll see. We will see. I missed a lot of Sundays because of the Chiefs games, man. Freaking Chiefs doing so well. Let's hope they can keep that streak alive. So, yeah, thank you again for watching. I am Milkman L. Join Discord. The link's right there in chat. Click it. Hope to see you then. Yeah, till Sunday. Adios. Have a good one.